Hello, everyone. This is Aaron St. Dennis, the FF Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Mad Science Lab podcast. Almost clicked on the wrong intro there. I've got my 8-year-old has decided he wants to do the tier list like this. He did Fortnite earlier for his channel, so I forgot it. I have it set up here, and I almost clicked on the intro to Fire Dragon Gaming. So we almost got sideways here and went to video games, but we're good. All right. We are continuing on with the My Tiers series, and here to do Redraft Tight End is Ryan Miner. Ryan, thanks for joining me for the third time.
Thanks for having me on, man. I love being on here on your show with you.
Yeah, you're 3 for 3. I was saying earlier, I think there's 3 of you who have been on all 3 series so far. I can't remember who the other 2 are. I think it's Steven Chalmers and Mike Sicoli, maybe. But anyways, welcome back. Why don't you take a second and tell everyone where they can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RyanMiner_FFP. You can find all my work on Faceoff Sports Network at fffaceoff.com. And you can always find me still doing rookie mock drafts here and there on Sleeper also.
Sweet. All right, let's get into it. Some tight end excitement. We'll start off with an easy one here. We've got Mark Andrews. Where do you want him?
I'm going to put him up there. I think he's going to go back to Elite again.
I don't disagree with that. He's pretty much, I think I've done, this is my second or third tight end one, and I think I've done a few of these myself for practice, and I think he's pretty safely in the elite tier, so I won't argue with you there. This one will be a little bit more debatable. Greg Dulcich, where do you like him?
Ooh. I'm gonna be honest with you, just by coach speak and everything, I'm going down to average. Just because of what Sean Payne's kind of saying, like he's kind of like not really into him, like I was into him, or like how the rest of the fans community was into him last season.
Yeah, he scares me. Peyton was like, I'm a Saints fan. Peyton was real big on Troutman, and then he brought over Troutman. That scares me.
That's what kind of pulled me. Like if that didn't happen, I would have put him at good. But yeah, with what's going on there now, it's like this whole team's kind of like throwing me to the side. Like, what do I do now?
No, exactly. They do this every year. Last year it was Albert O, and then they drafted Dulcich. This year everyone's high on Dulcich. Then they bring in Troutman, and who the hell knows? All right. Next up, we have Evan Engram. Where do you want him?
Ooh. He is definitely great.
Great.
Borderline great. He's right at borderline great and good. He's just one step above good to me.
Yeah, I think for me, he would have been probably the top of the good tier, but I think the talent, he's great, but I worry that there's not going to be enough mouths to feed. I think if it hadn't been for Ridley, he'd be he'd be great for me. I think he'd be top of the good tier for me just based on Ridley, but we'll see how that plays out. Next up, Zach Ertz. I know, I don't expect him to be healthy, but assuming he's healthy, where do you have Zach Ertz?
Ooh. By the way this team's going and the way I see it not playing out so well, he's going to be average at best.
Yeah, with Clayton Tune as his quarterback for 10 weeks. So, Gerald Everett.
Gerald Everett. Oh, wow. Didn't even think of him at all.
I'm actually pretty high on Gerald Everett. I don't think he was ranked. I think he's ranked as something like tight end 22, but I have him significantly higher in the Chargers offense.
I do like how this offense rolls. I like how they do everything. Let me see the stats.
Well, Kellen Moore too.
Yeah, definitely Kellen Moore, Dalton Schultz kind of thing. You know what? You convinced me, man. I'm going. I'm feeling good on this one.
Yeah, it's kind of where I think he's not exciting. He's just, if you miss on your early tight ends, he's someone late, or he's someone, if you took one of the rookie tight ends, you can get him pretty safely. But I think if I remember correctly, he finished as tight end 11 last year in points per game, and he's going off the board nearly double that at 21 or 22. So he's someone I've had a lot of late. Kellen Moore, that's all he did in Dallas was target the tight end. So he's in LA now. I'll take my chances. Pat Freiermuth.
Ooh, Pat Freiermuth. He is borderline good, great.
You like great?
Yeah, we'll put him at great. I think he's gonna take the next step here.
Yeah, he's one. Yeah, he's another one. He could be good. He could be great. I think been hit and miss. Like there's times where he's really looked like he's going to elevate himself into the elite tier, and then there's times where he just disappears. And I think that's largely due to Kenny Pickett not being not being that good at quarterback. But hopefully, Pickett. If Pickett takes a step forward, I think Fryermuth may be the breakout stud of the year at tight end. He could
And I think
easily
Pickett
be
does
in the
take that.
elite tier.
And I think Pickett does take that step forward too this year. I think like getting a whole full off season on him. It's not Mr. Trubisky as the lead. It's Pickett's team. It's going to be him. I think it's going to be a better season for him now going forward. And like he had 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions last season. He's definitely got to improve from that.
I agree. So all the more reason why I think Fryermuth at very least will be great next year, if not elite. Mike Gesicki, who I liked and really wanted to see to go to like Green Bay or a great landing spot. Instead, he signs with possibly the worst fit and goes to New England. Where do you have him?
Is it really the worst fit though? Because like there's not really that many pass catchers there that are really.
Well, there's not that many good pass catchers. They're like the Giants. They have 100 players, just none of them any good, I guess.
But Mike Gesicki, 6'6", 250. I mean, he is a phenomenal pass catcher. I think like he could definitely take the step up. I think he's to be under the, but I'm putting him to be safe in the good tier on that one.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Like I said, it's a low pass volume offense. Mac Jones is kind of average, but I guess we'll see. Dallas Goedert.
Ooh. That is great tier, but he's borderline elite to me also.
So where do you want him? Elite or great?
We'll put him in great. It's hard to put him in the elite, man. Like he's a difference maker, but he's not that difference maker between Mark Andrews, you know?
Yeah, he's kind of one of the bridge here between the elite and the great, but yeah, I think that's a good fit. Tyler Higbee.
Oh, man. That team. He finished as tight end 6 last year, though, so especially in PPR. So
it says a lot more about how bad tight end is than how good he is, I think.
Yeah, but he's average. He's still average because, you know, it's just the way he plays. He has that blow-up game, and then you're lucky to get like 4 points out of him the next week.
With Stafford's health issues, I think it's entirely possible we see some Stetson Bennett. So this average tier has at very least 2 quarterbacks that I think are going to see rookies with Clayton Tune for Ertz and Stetson Bennett for Higbee. So it could get rough. These 2 could be dropping down to below average this year, but we'll see. We had last year's breakout star coming up next, TJ Hawkinson.
People are going to hate me for this, but I'm definitely putting him down in the great. And that's just due to Jordan Addison.
Oops, that's the wrong guy.
I don't see him staying elite. I mean, he had 100 and what was his targets?
Oh, no, I have him in the – I'm not going to fight you on that one. I have him in great. I don't think he's elite. I think he's a volume tight end. Like, I think Goddard's better but doesn't get the volume.
Yeah, he had 129 targets last season, so I don't see that happening again.
You give Pat Fryermuth or Dallas Goedert 129 targets, I bet you they'd be far better than he was. I think he was just average, but he got an insane target volume. So, all righty, Juwan Johnson with Adam Troutman being departed for Denver.
The hype's getting too real, and a lot of people are really high on him. And I think he's going to be a dart throw target. He's going to be one of those late-round tight ends that I see as more very touchdown dependent, just like he was last season. He's below average.
I don't argue that. I had a few shares of him. The Saints seem to do this every year. They hype up a tight end, and it never happens. It was Troutman, then it was Johnson, then it was neither, and I'm not really into it. I don't think this offense is very good. I'm not a big Derek Carr believer. Below average is fitting. Travis Kelce, I'm not sure I need to ask where this one goes, but elite.
He has his own tier. He's above the elite because between him and tight end 2, which was TJ Hawkinson, was the same as tight end 2 to tight end 17 difference. Over 100 fantasy points. Yeah. So he's elite. He's elite of the elite.
He's so good that he's the top of the tier, even in Dynasty, even though he could retire tomorrow. That's how good he is. So.
And I've had many people even ask me, hey, where do you have Travis Kelce in your Dynasty rankings? I go tight end 1. I go because no matter what, I want to win, and if I'm winning now with him because I don't care what it takes. I'm going down with that ship.
He's one of the players like Christian McCaffrey at this point. If I roster him in Dynasty, I'm keeping him, and he will die on my roster. I may get 5 more years out of him. I may get 1 more, but I'm just at this point, I'm just keeping him. He's my 1 until he's no longer playing, and then I'll just eat him from there after 4 championships. Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid. I mean, we see how he was in college, but I don't believe it until I can see it. So I'm going as average.
Yeah, I think I have him in average. I think I have him average as well. Everyone's really high on him, but I don't think Dawson Knox just goes away. I know Kincaid can't block, but he didn't have all that much production, even in small schools in college. And I don't know. I'm not as hyped up for Kincaid as everyone else. People penciling him in as a top 6 redraft tight end, and I think you've got it right here, average.
I'm choking. Yeah, like everyone hears the Kelsey terms, like, oh, they're gonna put him in the Kelsey role. He's gonna be the slot. It's like, well, if you look at all the Bills like slot receivers, they weren't that great.
No,
it wasn't enough to make like a tight end 1. He'd be a tight end 1, but it's like you're drafting him. I feel like at the peak right now. If you're drafting, put him at tight end 6.
Absolutely, George Kittle.
George Kittle, man, he is great.
When healthy.
When healthy, great.
Don't argue.
He's got to be the most like talented. I'd say he's the most talented tight end when the ball's in his hands. If he
ever stayed healthy, yeah. If he played a full season, I think he would be easily tight end. I feel like the one season he was healthy, he was what, tight end 2, tight end 3?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was definitely up there.
Yeah. Cole Kmet.
Ooh.
I'm higher on Kmet than everyone else, but I get it. He had 8 really good games last year and 8 really poor games. It's largely going to depend on whether or not Justin Fields evolves as a passer. So,
yeah, I mean, he had what? He led the team in targets with 69, had 50 catches, 544 yards, but the 7 touchdowns is what definitely boosted him up, especially in fantasy. He's great, but for how I see how Justin Fields is, like, it's really dependent on Justin Fields, and I just don't see Justin Fields taking that next step. I think he's just good.
All righty. The aforementioned Dawson Knox.
I feel like Dawson Knox can take that step back. Everyone's kind of hyped with him with C.J. Stroud, thinking that C.J. Stroud's going to be that type of quarterback who is going to rely more on the tight end. But let's not forget, Dawson Knox had a huge contract offer last season from Dallas and turned it down. Yep. And basically took a pay cut this season to go to Houston. So I think he's going to be a bust and be actually average.
You think he's going to be average? Okay. All right. Rookie, Sam Laporta.
I love Sam Laporta. I mean, being a Detroit Lions fan, I love the pick. I love everything that goes with it. I think he's going to be good.
I liked him too. He was someone where right when he landed in Detroit, I was saying, I love the landing spot. He's someone I really want to be getting in the middle of the second round in rookie drafts. Yep. But he's going at the end of the first round. And so I have very few shares of him just because I don't draft rookie or like tight ends in rookie drafts in the first round. So,
yeah, and I let him go at that rate. It's like, but to see what he could do, and if everything continues out like how we've seen the Iowa tight ends, where we have George Kittle, we have T.J. Hockenson, a few names just to explain there. It's like, could he be the next great out of Iowa? I can see it.
I can too. I'm not paying that rookie price. He's a lot cheaper in redraft, but at the first round rookie pick, no thanks. In a lot of leagues I wanted him. I just passed and I took Michael Mayer, our next guy up, in the middle of the second round. So Michael Mayer, where do you want him?
Jimmy Garoppolo, that whole offense. I mean, who even knows how that offense is going to go?
That's assuming Garoppolo even stays on the team.
He's going to be average at best.
All righty, average. David Njoku.
Oh, he is for sure good. I love that pass offense. As we know, you and I already talked about the Cleveland Browns, how high I was on David Njoku. It's like, I love him, man. He's good. He's a good tight end. He has that borderline to be great, and it has a borderline to even be elite. He's got the athleticism to do it. We'll put him in the. We'll be good. I don't want to have him like too high. Like he could be great.
Yeah. Chig Okonkwo.
Oh man, like I love Chig Okonkwo. I love his opportunity there. I mean, he's easy to be the number 2 pass catcher, but it's like the way this Tennessee offense is looking, it's like, what do we do here? I feel like we're almost kind of overdrafting him. He's going at like tight end 11 in redraft person. Like,
Yeah, he's going too high.
Yeah, so like I just feel like it's going to be average.
Average, okay.
I got a lot of average players going on here.
They're tight ends. That's how it goes. Kyle Pitts.
I feel like this is Kyle Pitts here, man. I think this is going to be the elite year for him. I think he's going to take that next step with Desmond Ridder. I think Bijan Robinson helps. Having Drake London on there in the field. Like when Drake London was on the field, it was still Kyle Pitts' offense, and he actually doubled his touchdowns. Went from 1 to 2. But I feel like this could be Drake London's year to actually really take that next step forward. As we've always seen, tight ends usually take 2 to 3 years before they really actually break out of their shell. I feel like this is the year. This is a good value to get him too. Last year, I was all off of him, thinking that we're drafting him way too high. This year, I'm back in on him.
Dalton Schultz.
I thought we already did Dalton Schultz.
You did Dawson Knox.
Oh, I did Dawson Knox. Oh man, I thought that was Dalton Schultz. I am way up below on that one. That one is definitely gonna be below average. So my Dawson Knox thing. Wow, I thought it was Dalton Schultz who said. I'm sorry.
No. Oh, so okay. So here, we'll switch that back then. You got Dalton Schultz back on the board. Dalton Schultz back up to average, and Dawson Knox on the board again. Where do you want Knox?
I say he's just average, man. I still think he's going to be the tight end 1 on this team. Like,
yeah, I don't doubt it. I think it's very possible.
I don't understand why everyone wants to give up on him. Yeah, okay, they got a rookie in the first round. Congratulations. But it's just
rookie tight ends don't ever do anything.
Last year, Dalton Schultz had 6 touchdowns. Year prior to that, 9 touchdowns. He's been a touchdown machine for that team. Has the targets and receptions haven't been there, but to think like Kincaid's gonna take the next step, Knox is gonna be there. Knox has another year or 2 left on his contract. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
People are gonna overdraft Kincaid. They're gonna wish they had Knox instead. I think Knox is actually gonna finish higher than Kincaid too.
I think so too. Irv Smith.
Oh, dude, that's bad.
Bad.
I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, he has the athleticism, but it's never showed. I mean, he had a one pop game, but he's like that tight end, like in the 20s you get when you need like a tight end 3 on your team.
And to round it out, Darren Waller.
So the Giants, they have a bunch of slot wide receivers. So they have now an actually good tight end over Daniel Bellinger. I think it doesn't take a step back though, and go like how we always draft him as a great. I think he's gonna be a good tight end still.
All right, can't argue that. Nothing crazy here. Seems to be a whole lot of. You got a couple of really elite tight ends, then some really great ones, and then there's just a large cluster where once you get outside tight end 6, it seems. What you hit Freiermuth and Engram, that seems to be the bridge to the abyss, where it's just throwing darts and hope that one of these guys hits. So that doesn't surprise me at all, but I definitely like it. All right. Well, thanks for joining me again, Ryan. You want to take a second once again here to tell everyone where they can find your work?
Yeah, you can find me on all my work on fffaceoff.com. We got rookie profiles out. I've got rookie mock drafts out. You can also find me on Twitter at RyanMiner_FFB.
All right. That has been my tiers on the redraft tight ends with Ryan Miner. Once again, I am Aaron St. Dennis, the FF Mad Scientist. Thank you, Ryan, for joining me, and thanks everyone for watching. This has been the Mad Science Lab podcast. Have a good night.